Hello and welcome to a new edition of School Matters. Today we're talking about alternative education and some new and innovative programs within Cleveland County Schools. Our first guest today is Dr. Anita Ware. Welcome to you. Not your first time being here, so welcome back, I should say.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
If you don't mind, just to kick us off, talk a little bit about your background. You have multiple titles, executive director, principal, so talk about your roles and a little bit of your background, if you don't mind.
Sure. I started my education career almost 30 years ago, teaching elementary school and also middle. And then after that, went back to grad school, got my doctorate, focused really in areas around high-risk populations, and had a real interest in that. Did a lot of research across North Carolina in turnaround schools, schools that beat the odds. And had the great opportunity to work at the Principal's Executive Program for about 6 years, sharing what I had learned in my research with principals. And then had the best decision of my career was to, after being in Charlotte Meck for 3 years as an assistant principal, the opportunity to open our Cleveland Early College High School. So my prior times on this show have been to talk about that new program that has now been around since August of 2008. And so enjoyed those years, went to central office, have done a variety of things. I have served as secondary director, did a couple principal interims. I've also worked with several folks in central office to open our Cleveland Innovation Academy, which is our district fully virtual school, and proud of that program that continues to work today and provide alternatives to a traditional education, K-12. And then I'm now at Turning Point Academy, which is in a dual role of central office and principalship. Great job, great organization, and we're multifaceted. We have a traditional program, which are kids that have been placed there for a number of reasons. And we also have this new program we're going to talk about today called School to Work, which is an alternative pathway to high school graduation.
So, Dr. Ware, tell us about what the School to Work program is all about. Give us an overview.
Okay, big picture. School to Work is an alternative to being in high school 5 days a week all day. We have developed very high quality, standards aligned hybrid courses, which is hard copy, self-paced work in binders that students complete. Then we've embedded in those binders QR codes with lectures and extra information to assist them in their independent work. But they're also required to come into our facility and work with one of our 4 academic coaches, 4 hours a week minimum. Some come more than that. One of our biggest challenges is our state math requirements. So we have a couple folks who come in and tutor our students who are taking those upper level maths to graduate from high school. Another requirement is that we require these students to work. So the whole idea is we're freeing up so much time in your week that this would allow you to work full time if you choose, and go to school and graduate. And I want to be clear, you're enrolled in Turning Point Academy. You become a Turning Point Academy graduate. It is a full North Carolina diploma. And we work very, very hard. We can help you find a job. We try to provide some soft skills to help you. Ultimately, the goal is by the time you graduate to land a job you can build a life on that would include benefits and upward mobility. Most of our students end up going to Cleveland Community College after they graduate. We've had a lot of success with helping students bridge from high school to college. And we're now working with some community members to using local temp agencies to get our kids hired into some of these industries in our county that are really good jobs that they can support a family. So we're excited about that kind of growing edge. That's a big focus of next year as we continue to expand is how do we find and build relationships with employers, because we feel like we've got a student who could begin working full-time right now while they're finishing high school and then could become a great lifelong employee for you. So we're really excited about that. Like I said, that is really a growing edge for us next year.
Now, are all Turning Point Academy students in the School to Work program, or is it just certain students?
No, we do have a few that have moved from our traditional program to School to Work. If that's a good fit, we encourage it. But most of our students came to an info session like we have next Thursday, and they listen to how it works and what the requirements are. They apply, and then if it's a good fit, we immediately create a schedule and get them started.
So what student is a good candidate?
I think a student's a good candidate if they're really serious about finishing high school and they're really willing to put in time at home. They're willing to show up for the 4 hours a week required time. They communicate well with us. You know, it needs to be the student needs to want this, not just their parents.
Yes.
So by and large, the students that have applied, been accepted, and started School to Work have been successful. Occasionally, we've had a student that they just weren't ready, and they might disappear and come back. So we've had that happen several times. So we try to make this as personalized as possible, but I want to be really clear that this is real courses that follow the state requirements. We are not giving away diplomas. They're earning diplomas. But it is a very different approach to high school than traditional high school. But again, it's been nice to develop those personal relationships with students, and sometimes we've been able to help a cousin or a sibling that's dropped out of high school, and often we'll get additional family members that way. So that's exciting, and because I think we all win when a student graduates from high school, and certainly our county wins when we find a good citizen, an employee that wants to stay here and raise a family.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, that's more of a long-term goal, but that's really what, that's our dream for this program, is that we create a pathway to having a really great life after high school.
This is second, third year of the program?
This is our third year. We did a pilot. Last year was our first full year, and then this is our second full year.
So sounds like a very innovative program. Are there other school districts doing things like this? It sounds like
I think
maybe
there's
not.
a lot of dropout recovery programs around. To my knowledge, no one is doing it this way. I mean, I'll tell you the kind of the backstory is several years ago, probably maybe 2015, I think, we launched a little pilot program we called Finish. And it was targeting seniors who were at great risk for dropping out of high school, only had a handful of courses left. Same model. We used virtual courses at that time, which we find are really hard for kids to negotiate, and then you sometimes have connection issues at home.
Yeah.
Or you know, maybe they just don't have the technology skills to pull that off. It worked incredibly well. We graduated close to 200 kids that way over the course of several years. But those kids graduated from their high schools. It was a program. The difference, and it was so successful, we asked the question, and Dr. Fisher agreed to let us pilot it, why can't we do this at any grade level? We're having such success. Why should it only be seniors? And that's how School to Work came to be, and we wanted to really add the employment component, since we have many kids who will be with us all 4 grades.
Yeah.
So that's a real difference between Finish and School to Work, but we're building on success we had earlier with that program that targeted seniors.
You mentioned that employment piece and that how do you help make that connection? How do you identify the student's interest, and then a good fit employment-wise. Talk about that process.
We've done that a little more informally, using our CTE teachers at Turning Point maybe help us do some inventories with students. One of the things we ask on the application is, what kind of work are you interested in? What kind of vocational type areas are you interested in? So we have some idea of where they're headed. I'd like that to be part of what we make more robust next year, figuring out how to use the resources we have better to really, help kids discern, what is it I'm good at? What is it I want to do when I graduate from high school? But we do some soft skills workshops with students. We've helped build resumes. We often will help them getting an ID if they don't have a driver's license, because that's an important step in employment.
Yeah.
We develop a relationship with the employer and kind of be a support person for that employer, check up on the students, make sure they're doing well. Those are all areas that we'd love to see. We'd love to be able to expand. So we welcome businesses who are willing or interested, who might want to employ some of our students, to let me know, and we'll do our best to kind of build that relationship with them.
Okay, all right. And how can they contact you if they're interested?
I think the easiest way is just to call Turning Point Academy and say I'm interested in the School to Work program, and our receptionist will connect you to either one of the academic coaches or to me. And that's a great way to start the conversation.
Okay. Are there some success stories you'd like to share or talk about?
Yes. One of our early graduates had completely dropped out of high school. And he came to School to Work, did really well, finished all the requirements, took the pharmacy tech course here.
Yes,
And a few months after he graduated, he took the exam and passed, and called us to let us know that he had gotten a full-time job with one of the big pharmacy companies with benefits.
That's
That
awesome.
is what it's all about. His life will be changed forever. And so those are the kind of stories, we're hearing from our graduates, how much they appreciate an alternative to attending high school 5 days a week. Sometimes life just gets in the way and you need something different. Many of our students are caring for grandparents and parents. Many started working in COVID and their income helps their families. We have many students who are new parents. And so this it's been a good fit for them, who you're trying to manage caring for a baby while finishing high school. So it's allowed just a different option to finish.
Yeah. You mentioned your information session. You want to give us the details on
Yes. We have a very simple process. You come to an information session. Our next session is next Thursday, December the 12th at 3 o'clock at the Turning Point Academy cafeteria. Come in through our main entrance. Someone will be there to greet you. You'll listen to our presentation, and if it sounds like a good fit, you will fill out an application right there. And then we immediately begin the vetting process to make sure that we're going to be able to support you to graduate. And then whoever comes and is accepted will begin in January. So we'll immediately get them in on the week of January 6th. We'll do orientation and get them started. So one thing I didn't really communicate clearly enough is it's somewhat self-paced, meaning you may finish a course before the end of the semester, and if there's not an EOC or a state exam, we'll probably go ahead and put you in another class to start.
Okay.
So that's one way that we've been able to help students who are behind because they dropped out, or maybe they just didn't have academic success and they didn't get credits. We do have the ability to accelerate.
So don't go away. We're going to take a
Okay.
quick break, and don't you go away. We'll be right back with more after this.
For many kids, just showing up to school is a challenge. Staying through graduation is even harder. So at communities and schools, we do just what our name says. Our staff brings a community of resources to meet each student's needs right in their school, doing whatever it takes to keep kids focused so they see what we see, a bright future. Join in at communitiesinschools.org.
Chef Paul Prudhomme once said, "You don't need a silver fork to eat good food." Well, on Cleveland County Kitchen, we don't have a silver fork, but we sure do serve up lots of good food. Hi, I'm Deborah Blanton. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen. Each month, we offer a complete farm-to-table experience. We visit local growers, we learn about nutrition, and wrap things up with wonderful meals prepared by our guest chefs. It's a lot of fun. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen.
Killing, people dying, children hurt, and you hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach, and would you turn the other cheek?
How you doing today, ma'am?
Father, help us and some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
Welcome back. We are talking to Dr. Anita Ware, who is principal at Turning Point Academy and an executive director for Cleveland County Schools, and we're talking about the School to Work program. We've talked about a lot of different things. Mention maybe some of the other things, the support that's provided to the students who enter the program, the transportation piece, if you don't mind.
Sure. One constraint is that students will have to provide their own transportation to get to Turning Point for their academic 4 hours a week.
Okay.
We do offer flexibility on how you put those 4 hours in. We staff our School to Work classroom from Monday through Thursday from 8:30 until 3. So we do work with you to come up with a schedule, but I just want to emphasize that that's non-negotiable. Those hours are required. And the reason is we've learned through our experience that if we don't have regular contact with them, students tend to not be as successful.
Yeah.
So that is a requirement. We have a few students who may ride the bus and spend an entire day because that's the only way they can participate in the program. That's somewhat limited because I have to consider how much capacity we have in our buses. But it is an option for a handful of students who come one day a week all day because they need that bus. So we try our best to work with students. In terms of support, anything you would have access to in a traditional high school, we offer at Turning Point. We have a Contegra mental health counselor, and she has several of our School to Work students on her caseload. We have school counselor services, social work services. So any of those things that you would get in a traditional high school, we offer.
Okay. One more time, do you want to give us the details on that information session?
Absolutely, very important. If you're interested in a January start, next Thursday, December the 12th, 3 o'clock, Turning Point Academy cafeteria, come to the main entrance. We're on Sumter Street behind Central Services. We'll give a short presentation, and if it sounds like a good fit, you'll fill out an application, and that will begin the process.
And that is open to
Anybody, whether you're currently enrolled. We can work with students until they're 21 years old. That's important to know that. But we've already had some calls, for example, from kids in our traditional high schools who need something different, who will be coming on the 12th. So we look forward to meeting new folks who are interested in learning more about our program.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you so much for this program, for your leadership in bringing this program and this option for students. This is great work and great things, great opportunities for kids. And
thank you. And we have a great team. We have great folks on our team that are really, really invested in kids being successful. And when you have that, there's a lot you can accomplish.
No, for sure. Well, thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
And from Cleveland County Schools, we're wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next time.
School Matters is a production of the Communications Department of the Cleveland County School System. For additional information, visit our website at www.clevelandcountyschools.org.